Hello, I'm Carrie Cordy. It is Sunday, March 25th, 2018. Tomorrow, I will have been sober from alcohol for 3 years. I say sober from alcohol because, the weed. So, and I could go on and about, if you can define sobriety as being free from anything that really changes a physical or mental aspect or reaction, yada yada. But that kind of thing's really just a justification to lessen the truth of that statement, of the statement, the responsibility. But I will have been free from alcohol for 3 years tomorrow. I could have never quit drinking had I not started to come to terms with being transgender and then starting to tell people. I started to tell people in January of 2015, and I quit drinking in March. So, yeah, I went into AA knowing my identity and, knowing that people just saw this guy. And, I had already started wearing women's underwear. And, I was still at the point, it's like, I hope nobody notices my panty lines. And, I remember a lot of times when I would kind of speak that I would, hint at, something. And, I don't think I was ever really obvious about it, but, that was an incredible time for me. I was able to start dealing with the things in my life that I was running from, which is, the drinking was a harmful coping mechanism. But, I could go on and I could define what a harmful mechanism, a coping mechanism is, and I could get lost into details. And I've been concentrating lately upon staying on my point that I had started making, because I can go on and, I was talking with a friend of mine, and um, about a video. It's, you see the jump topic right there, and it was in one of my recent ones, and it was it was a good conversation, because I do that, and so I'm thinking of having a pad of paper with me and writing down, one word or one liner of what I'm talking about, and because I don't need much to kind of remind me what yada yada yada. I can write down a sentence and, look at it after time has passed, and know what the idea was and the complexity. But, that's not something that's just unique to me. I've been avoiding doing that for the last little moment. I've been under so much relief that, I've been sleeping a little bit more, and my living situation here is definitely, um, it's more difficult, and but it is a relief too. And having hope and knowing that it came from me, ultimately speaking my heart. And, as someone pointed out to me, you have a lot of content. It's quite the, investment of time to go through it all. And when I first started making videos, I don't know, it was like a year before I started posting, creating this YouTube channel. I started it first off, I was homeless in August of 2015, and I made a video to hear what my female voice sounded like. And, the video's real quiet and whatever, and so then I made another video commenting on it, and so it became this thing. And I started really quickly in these, talking as if though I was talking to people, and I had seriously thought for quite a while, even when I first started making these little video diaries, that I would probably post them. And before I post them, I talked to one of my brothers, and I told him what I was going to do, and that, it's something I named names, but the ultimate purpose behind it was not to demonize, and it wasn't to get people to help me repay this. No, it was a story of a difficult journey, and it's a story of what has affected me in my life, and whether or not you can get lost into the details did this physically happen like I remember it, or did it happen at all? And you could get lost in that argument. But the ultimate core of what I'm trying to do is I'm shouting to the world that these things affected me, and I need to deal with it, and that turns out I need to talk about it. And I think I'm really counting on the fact that a lot of other people want to talk about it too. But, everybody is waiting for somebody to talk about it and have it to be, more than just the armchair, friends hanging out kind of discussion. Shut up, I know I'm smoking and coughing. So bringing to light that it's important to recognize the moment, and not to fear what is going to happen, or even fear what is happening, because fear happens. There's nothing you can do about it coming or going or that kind of thing, but you can change what it is. You can feel it the moment for what it is, and that's very difficult to do. And I started my journey of that perception very early in my life. I've talked about it before in my videos, is the nail story, which I was thinking about a little bit earlier today. Not to fear the moment or what's next. That is probably the most difficult thing in this life, and it's directly related to living this life and expressing your hopes, your fears. And that's such a simple, cliched statement right there, that it needs to be explained in depth with a lot of different metaphors, examples, and stories. I take forever to make a point, it seems, and when I was unable to express myself in my other life, it would be very disjointed. I wouldn't be able to really make my point. I would be lost in my feeling like I'm misunderstood, and like I'm not being understood no matter what I do. And that was horrible, a horrible time in my life. And I was even thinking about how angry I was. The people that knew me during those times, I think, those would be some of the people that are most amazed by how I am now. I'm able to relate my point. I still take a lot of time, but I'm able to do it relatively calmly. I do have my passionate side, as people know, and my passion shows through more than it doesn't. I don't really see the point in hiding that anymore, because I think hiding it brings upon a very negative effect to society as a whole. I would have never thought that I would, on a regular basis, think that life was amazing. And that's been one of the great gifts about this. You can go on about transgender and this and that, and a stigma that people get from even knowing someone who's transgender, and getting past any kind of belief or stereotype is difficult. And when something doesn't touch your life in a big or open way, it's something that's different, and anything that's different takes time to find your rhythm, as I like to put it, which is a way to come to terms with and accept something for what it is, and to be continually on a road to understanding and see that how things bleed into everything else, which leads to why I go off on as many things as I do. So humanity, which really, when I say that, I really need to make clear that, it's by saying humanity as a whole, I'm largely talking that I need to do these things in my life while talking about it and sharing it, because that's what I feel I need to do. I feel like I need to share these things. And the whole point of that really long, disjointed explanation is these are things I thought about before I put these things on YouTube here and shared them. I told my brother about it, and he's like, don't do it, kind of thing. But he's been one of the most fantastic people during the early transition, which was unexpected. I digress, though. And then, fast forward, like, well, a year, maybe two, until recently, let's just say, it would have been over 2 years, or almost 2 years from when I started making the videos, but a year since I started posting on my thing. I thought seriously before making my video, and then again before posting it and sharing it. The one where a cry for help and a plea for compassion, I think, is the title. And the video went kind of viral in certain circles, and by it wasn't necessarily the video so much as a couple of friends typing up a few things, one friend in particular, and sharing it, and that end of the story. So when I started to get contacted by people, I they hadn't, many of them hadn't even seen the video. Oh, I'm gonna run out of space here. So in each point, I made a conscious decision to know what I was doing, and the public, and the fact that good things are happening, even though still this channel doesn't get very many views, and I don't tag anything, but I've spoken my heart all along, and that has touched others, and there's no reason to think that on a larger scale this couldn't keep going. Either it will or it won't, but I'm gonna write out the moment for what it is. I'm really close to losing space, so I'm just gonna kind of say, just breathe, man. Just breathe. Reminds me of the Pearl Jam song. See you later.